Tonight on CFTK-TV, changes are being made to AI when it comes to the job market. Federal workers are making their way back into office after 4 years of remote work, and the Paris Paralympics just wrapped up with Canada bringing home the gold.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Hello, I'm Damian Smith, and thank you for joining us here on CFTK-TV. Well, the Terrace RCMP have put out yet another notice letting the public know that they're seeking out a suspect seemingly involved in a crime from a little while back. And back on August 7th, the man who is pictured on the RCMP's website made his way into the local Mark's warehouse location and allegedly took some merchandise without paying for it, and then reportedly went back into the store the next day to do the same thing. With it being over a month since these incidents occurred and the police being seemingly no closer to discovering the man's identity, they've turned to asking for public assistance to learn who the man is. And those who do have any useful information that could lead to the suspect's capture are asked to call the Terrace RCMP at 250-638-7400 or BC Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. The Liberal Party of Canada has had a series of challenges pop up these past couple of weeks, and it looks like it may not be getting any better for Trudeau and his party. Here's Colton Prale of CTV.
A grim picture for Liberals as party MPs gather in Nanaimo this week.
I've ripped up the supply and confidence agreement.
Canada's political landscape has undergone a seismic shift. Justin Trudeau's NDP support is gone. The party's national campaign director is resigning at the end of the month, and the Liberals are languishing with just 21% support.
There is a general mood of definite worry, but I also think that there is resolve on the need to proceed to come up with a plan.
Trudeau is yet to offer a glimpse of what that plan could be, but as economic issues remain voters' top priority, former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney is set to address caucus.
We've had an entire summer of nothing, no reaction, no adjustment, no alteration, even as they lose by-elections, even as the polls show them far behind, and even as the NDP walk away.
Some strategists argue acting as a true minority government for the first time in 2 years is actually a gift, even as the Bloc Québécois says it's a chance for them to exert newfound leverage.
Now, without kind of the burden of that agreement, they also have the opportunity to bring things back a little bit to the center and to be not defined by the NDP agenda.
He will not quit.
But pollsters say voters hoping to beat Pierre Poilievre are more likely to shift to the New Democrats than the Liberals.
I don't think the problem is the campaign director or, the team trying to figure out how to sell the product. Frankly, when you ask Canadians, the problem is the product itself.
Trudeau won't have to wait long for his next big test. On the same day Parliament returns, his party faces a crucial Montreal by-election and risks losing a seat in what's typically been a safe riding.
And the new hybrid work schedule has now started this week for federal workers, and there is quite a bit of pushback from those who want to work at home full-time. Jeremy Sharon in Ottawa has a federal update.
Pushing back against the federal government's new hybrid work rules. As of tomorrow, public servants will be forced back into the office at least 3 days a week.
The Trudeau Liberal government better prepare itself for a summer of discontent.
Public service unions made that promise to fight back months ago, holding rallies and protests through the summer, and say they aren't done yet.
There'll be rallies right across the countries at different times this week, and this is just the beginning.
The federal government's new hybrid plan aims to improve performance in all departments.
We do feel there are enormous benefits from public servants working together in the office, learning by observation, collaborating on hard issues.
Has there been a lack of productivity? Has there been a drop in productivity?
I think it has been a drop in overall performance.
But the unions have pushed back, claiming performance and productivity haven't been impacted by remote work.
It was an arbitrary decision that was made without consultation. And we actually have evidence, their own emails that state that going back in the office 3 days a week doesn't necessarily mean it'll be more productive.
The union is taking its challenge to federal court, but a hearing date hasn't been set yet.
When the collective agreement is silent on how many days an employee is to be, the location of the workplace, it's going to be an uphill battle for the union.
While workers seem to be split on the move.
It's not that I don't want to be in the office, it's just getting there that's the problem.
We're being paid. Show up to the office is my opinion on it.
Now, several federal public sector unions have planned what they're calling a rally for remote worker rights here in Ottawa tomorrow morning, urging the federal government to back off. Heather?
Now, locally, Mounties in North District stated that its major crime unit managed to arrest one individual allegedly related to a homicide that is about a year old. They said that the suspect from Smithers was charged with second-degree murder yesterday in connection with a shooting that occurred in September of last year. Last September, the Smithers RCMP got a call reporting that a male had been shot in a vehicle outside of a residence, and police responded to the scene and found a victim who later succumbed to his injuries. Police said that the suspect was arrested without any incident on September 6th in Kelowna. Now, for many athletes, their post-athletic career varies. Some get into coaching, some get into something completely different, but some may take up another sport. And with that, here's Kevin Chirac from CTV News.
Just another day at the office.
Well, I mean, we all grew up watching Happy Gilmore. It was filmed here in Vancouver.
The Adam Sandler movie that tells the story of a former hockey player turned golfer who can hit it a mile. This is Shea Emery, a retired CFL linebacker and two-time Grey Cup champion who's following a similar path.
I needed something as an outlet, and the gym just wasn't cutting it anymore. And one day we were just sitting there scrolling on social media, and I saw 4 dudes the same size as me smashing drives.
And he pulled it up on the computer, opened the screen, and I saw big guys like Shea just rah, every time they'd smack that ball, and I knew that was the next big sport for him.
Long drive competitions have found a niche following, and top competitors are sponsored and can win big money at events. The 38-year-old Emery started January of this year, entering his first open competition on a whim.
Came in with a little bit of confidence. It's like, I'm a pro athlete. I've done this before. I had a great mindset. I got 0 points. Didn't hit 1 on the grid. My driver is actually 4.5 degrees.
But after training, learning, and upgrading his tools for the trade, he scored multiple top 3 finishes. He says he hits it longer than 350 yards, clearing 400 on a good day. That's already near some of the tops in the sport.
I'm just excited to, be able to be in the mix and ride whatever wave comes next.
Emery's a dad and personal life coach and says the new pursuit is more than just a hobby.
It's really practicing that muscle, right? Pushing that muscle of risk and reward and really growing through the process of failing forward. And that's really, the life I'm trying to lead.
The Vancouver native is already qualified for Team Canada at the upcoming World Championships and is seeking sponsorship to help achieve his big goals. Kevin Chirac, CTV News, Richmond.
Coming up next, we'll get a glimpse on which jobs will benefit or not from the rise of AI. Welcome back. Well, over the weekend, the Regional District of Bulkley-Nechako put out a notification letting people know that they were issuing a hazard release. The reason for the release was because there has been some increased wildfire smoke in the area, which can really impact air quality and pose health risks for people with pre-existing conditions, small kids, as well as elderly people. And as a result, people at risk in those conditions are being asked to limit straining outdoor activities, use air purifiers if you have them, and keep smoke out of your home by closing your windows and doors, and seek medical attention if you experience breathing difficulties, chest pain, or dizziness. With AI use on the rise for businesses, there has been more information released on which types of jobs should be replaced or benefit from the technology. The shift is changing, and Camille Karamali has the rest.
With ChatGPT able to write most things, including political speeches.
That was the first speech, I think, made in this chamber, written by ChatGPT.
And Meta introducing a new chatbot that solves complex problems. It won't be long before artificial intelligence replaces some jobs completely.
We're looking at half or more of jobs are highly exposed to these AI tools, and it could be very, very disruptive.
New federal research looking into AI's impact on jobs broke down occupations into 3 categories: those that will benefit from AI, jobs that won't be affected, and those AI could completely replace. Careers that stand to benefit from AI include healthcare, engineering, and teaching. Jobs that won't be affected usually involve manual labor in trades and construction, while occupations most at risk of being replaced are mostly office jobs like computer programmers or professionals in business, finance, and insurance. That's about 1/3 of all jobs in Canada.
These are higher skilled jobs, typically university educated jobs. And so this is fascinating.
But economists warn not to push the panic button. The history of technological change has taught us one thing.
Yes, it has destroyed millions and millions of jobs, but it has at the same time created many millions of more jobs in other areas.
Areas like cybersecurity, but experts say the shift needs to start now to educate a new generation in jobs that are more likely to survive the AI surge.
So for those of you that are in high school thinking this is your future career, think again. Somebody needs to get in their ear and say, don't spend your time on this stuff.
And with more trade jobs and fewer office jobs expected to survive, some economists also predict a drop in enrollment in higher education like universities. Kamal Koramali, CTV News, Toronto.
And turning to tonight's forecast, the coast should see a low of 9 degrees tonight with increasing cloudiness along the way. The Terrace and Kitimat area will have increasing cloudiness as well, with a low of 8 degrees and winds coming from the south at 20 kilometers per hour. And the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District has a low of 1 degree, a few clouds, 20-kilometer winds from the west, and a risk of frost. And now on to your weekly weather forecast. The coast should see mostly rain this week other than Wednesday, where the sun should be out the entire day. A high of 16 degrees will be the case, along with a low of 8 degrees, which should be the night before. The Terrace and Kitimat area will also have a warm day on Wednesday at a high of 20 degrees, but then a steep drop off with clouds and rain the entire week. There will be a low of 7 degrees on Tuesday night. And in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, some warmer temperatures are to be expected with the high of 20 degrees on Wednesday. There will be cloudy days in the area, but not really a whole lot of rain other than the 40% on Saturday night. Other than tonight, the low should be Wednesday night at 3 degrees. And now we'll take a look at your roadside report here in the Northwest. On Highway 16, there is crack sealing in Smithers, construction eastbound in Burns Lake, utility work in Fraser Lake, Fort Fraser, and Vanderhoof, along with paving operations near Goat River. On Highway 37, there is roadside brush-in near Miziaden Junction, maintenance near Dease Lake and Jade City, and finally there is construction near New Ayanch on the Nishka. Now let's take a look at the cameras around the Northwest. Still to come, fentanyl usage continues to look bad for Vancouver, especially when comparing the city to other metropolitans. Welcome back. Well, just yesterday, the Paris Summer Paralympics wrapped up its 2-week performance, and Canada managed to smash its previous performance in the medal department. Out of 79 countries that participated, Canada placed 12th with 10 gold, 9 silver, and 10 bronze. And here's Christina Tenalia with more.
A picturesque Paris on the Paralympics closing day.
Paris has really put Paralympics right back on the map.
10 gold, 9 silver, 10 bronze, just an incredible showing.
29 medals total, surpassing the medal count from 3 years ago in Tokyo. So there's good reason to feel good.
I feel fantastic.
It was a fantastic finish. Ontario's Austin Smeek wrapped things up with a gold in wheelchair racing.
The feeling of winning a gold medal in Paris is absolutely electric.
Adding a second medal after a bronze earlier in the Games. Team Canada dominated in athletics and swimming with 5 golds in each sport. Para swimmers led the way, capturing the greatest number of medals overall at 13 total. The water was where it's at. BC swimmer Nicholas Bennett became the first Canadian male swimmer in 20 years to win multiple golds at a single Games. 2 golds and 1 silver earned him the honor of closing ceremony flag bearer. Ontario canoeist Brianna Hennessy joined him to hoist the flag.
My mom was my best friend in the whole world. She was my Wonder Woman.
She told CTV News last month she wanted to win to honor her late mother. And that she did, becoming the first Canadian to win a medal in para-canoe with a silver on Saturday. Ontario-born swimmer Sebastian Massaby broke the world record with his gold medal in the men's 50-meter freestyle. Quebec's Aurélie Rivard became the first Canadian swimmer to win a gold medal in the same event in 3 consecutive Games since 2008. Team Canada smashed another first in women's sitting volleyball, ending the country's podium drought in the sport with a bronze. And there was another historic win for Team Canada, described as a game changer for their bank accounts. For the first time ever, money for medals, $20,000 for gold, $15,000 for silver, $10,000 for bronze, equal to what Olympic athletes receive. It's a program that will continue at each Paralympics from here forward. Christina Tanalia, CTV News, Toronto.
Well, fentanyl usage in Vancouver does not seem to be getting any better anytime soon, especially when you compare them to other cities around Canada. Here's Camille Karamali with an update with a new report on the issue at hand.
Most days, it's tough to miss the overt opioid use on Vancouver's streets.
A lot of product comes through the ports of Vancouver.
Now, new data shows the greater Vancouver area far outpaces other Canadian cities when it comes to fentanyl use.
It's this magnet that draws people in.
Statistics Canada measured norfentanyl in wastewater across the country. That's what forms after fentanyl is broken down in the body. It found Metro Vancouver had 4 to 5 times higher levels of norfentanyl on average compared to other cities. At its peak in the 2-year time period measured, Metro Vancouver had more than 46 milligrams of norfentanyl per day for every 100,000 people, roughly 8 times more than Edmonton and Toronto. By the end of 2023, an even bigger gap, with Metro Vancouver measuring more than 10 times the amount of norfentanyl.
People that I work with, they use fentanyl every day, no matter what. What fluctuates is how much actual fentanyl is in the drugs that they're buying. Your drugs are going to contain, on average, 3 to 6% fentanyl.
It's been more than 8 years since BC declared a public health emergency over the number of opioid deaths. Since then, more than 15,000 people have died from toxic drugs in the province. Police have displayed one drug bust after another, but still the toxic drugs continue to flow through the streets.
When the police seize a drug supply and shut down dealers, that causes both increased violence as gangs and others will fight for that territory, and it removes safer options from the drug supply.
The Federal Mental Health and Addictions Minister's Office told CTV News it'll continue to support provinces, although would not provide any specifics. Meanwhile, advocates continue to call on more harm reduction sites and legalization. Kamil Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
And now we turn our attention to the stock market. The Canadian dollar is down 13/10 of a cent. The price of gold is up 1.40. Oil is up 85 cents. Natural gas is down 10 cents. And aluminum is down 36.50. In Toronto, the TSX is up about 246. The Venture Index is up about 4. In New York, the Dow Jones is up 484. And NASDAQ is up about 194. Still ahead, a man had his public library vandalized but found a way to rebound. Well, nicotine pouch sales have surged in the past year, but a federal mandate has restricted them being sold to the regular customer. Here's Jack Richardson with an update.
These are Zonic nicotine pouches, a product advertised as a healthier alternative to vaping and smoking. But a few weeks ago, the federal government banned convenience stores from selling them, only allowing sales in pharmacies.
I think that's great. I don't think they should have it at all, but it's better. We're getting better, so okay. I agree with it.
The pouches are placed under your lip and come in a variety of different flavors, but the new regulations will also limit how many of those flavors are available.
My boyfriend used to vape a lot, like a bad addiction, and then he tried switching to like the little like Zonic mouth pillows or like the Zins, stuff like that, and then now he just can't stop with that, so he calls them little mouth pillows, and now he's just addicted to that, so it doesn't really change anything.
Basically, it's just like another addiction.
The pouches were approved by Health Canada last year, but now officials say they found their way into the hands of minors too easily. The main reason for the new regulations. This Circle K said nicotine pouches were a very popular product here, and on Sunday morning alone, they had about 4 customers come in asking to buy some, only to walk out empty-handed. Advocates for nicotine pouches suggest those who do use them to quit smoking are suffering from the regulations, now with very limited access to the product. And to that point, here in Brockville, both Shoppers Drug Mart locations and the Rexall drugstore told CTV News they have no plans to stock Zonic nicotine pouches in the near future. But for some, Health Canada's plan isn't enough.
I think they should just get rid of them completely, honestly. I think, honestly, just remove them completely, ban them everywhere.
Jack Richardson, CTV News, Brockville.
Well, a Victoria man had his public library vandalized, but managed to turn a bad story into a good one. Here's Adam Sawatsky.
Roger Barker was looking forward to exchanging a book at one of the little free libraries that had been erected round his neighborhood when he found it vandalized.
Some person had thrown a burning book in it.
Well, then Roger discovered another nearby book exchange was damaged too.
Glass all over the floor.
Followed by a third little library that was destroyed.
All that was left of it was a stump.
Roger says he felt frustrated at first, heartbroken, and then, unexpectedly, inspired.
And I thought, if I can do something here, I will.
The thing was, Roger had never fixed anything like this before.
Got basically a drill, a few screwdrivers.
Not only did he lack knowledge, he had little space to attempt something so substantial.
My mind was muddled on, I'm going to achieve this.
But after getting some support from a couple friends and neighbors, Roger went to work on his apartment patio, fixing the first 2 libraries, before spending 6 weeks constructing a third one from scratch.
I don't know. I just did,
But more than build a simple box for books, Roger figured out how to attach a shingle to a peaked roof and hang a hinged door with a glass front before embellishing it with inspiration.
If music be the food of love, play on.
A musical quote from Shakespeare that can be accompanied by a piano Roger placed in the little library's attic.
Got a handle on the other side. Played a little tune.
There's also a sign that says, where flowers bloom, so does hope.
And hope is my wife's middle name. So she gives me hope.
But more than hope, Roger's acts of creative kindness are inspiring a sense of certainty in these online community pages that, like a choose-your-own-adventure book, we can decide to make a story that begins with destruction and with the creation of something even better.
Anything is achievable.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
Well, that's all of our news for now. Thank you very much for tuning in, and good night.